Thanks for joining us, and we hope to see you next time on All in Good Taste.
Welcome back to What the Hell Happened to Them. This season, a title fight is brewing. We are watching Eddie Murphy versus Jim Carrey. I am your host, Patrick Skeyhill, and joining me on the line is just a guy looking on his phone, Joe Vekeman.
Damn.
Gotcha.
Well, Black Christmas, the second remake of Black Christmas, has a 3.5.
They come out like back to back? Like what?
No, there was like 15 years between them.
That will make sense to you folks if you listen to the pre-show at the end. All right, and on the audio boards is Lev Van Rensselaer reminding me to remind you that you can email the cast at whathappenedtothemcast@gmail.com. And our sponsor this week is On the Toad Again, your one-stop shop for all your frog-based auto needs, however many they might be. On the Toad Again. All right, Joe, what movie are we doing this week?
We watched Jim Carrey's 1983, whatever the hell this is, All in Good Taste.
The Sex and Screenwriting Family Hour.
This was just too much of nothing.
It's kind of like white people American fiction until the second half when it becomes softcore pornography.
White people American fiction.
Yeah, he's like, I just want to write this really valuable story about slavery and child trafficking in Sweden. And they're like, yeah, but what if we had a lot of sexy ladies and they were strippers and had giant breasts? That's kind of like human trafficking.
I wish they went the more Barton Fink route, where he's just like, trying to make a prestige picture. And they're like, no, you got to make one of these wrestling pictures.
Yeah. Well, you know who was starring in this movie?
Oh, tell me.
Budget Jeff Daniels. Budget Don Rickles. Budget John Lithgow. Budget Michelle Pfeiffer.
That's very generous.
Budget Dallas Buyers Club Matthew McConaughey. And it was all narrated by Budget Rodney Dangerfield.
If anybody wants to seek that joke, seek that out for that joke, that is worth it then. Can I give you the synopsis of this?
Yes, you may do that.
A filmmaker is upset to find out that his wholesome script about an orphan and his dog has been warped into a film about strippers.
Well, I have two thoughts on that, because I remember you saying that at one point early on in our fact-finding gathering, and I thought, that sounds like it could be fun. One, I didn't know there was a dog in that script movie about the orphan human trafficking. Two, it didn't really get transformed as much as they said, we're not going to do this script, we want you to do a different script. Like, I thought, like, over time, all these studio notes would kind of come in, and, like, test screenings and investor things, and, like, eventually it would become, this was just like, no, we don't want to do this script, you're going to do this script. No, we don't want to do your version of the Persians, we're going to do, fuck. You know, like, that's...
That's it. Half the reviews on Letterboxd are in, like, Russian or German.
Get a peek behind their predilections. It continues the trend of these early Jim Carrey movies where he has nothing to do in the movie, but for some reason is a giant fucking face on the box.
He knows how to sell a box to 25 people.
And not only is it this giant fucking face on the box, it's this giant fucking face on the box from 15 to 20 years after the movie came out.
Oh, yeah, no, he's...
It's not 1980s Jim Carrey's face on the box.
No.
No.
He's, his hair is a little more moppier in the 80s.
Yeah.
And then it's not like the Ace Ventura slicked back style.
And I just think, like, where are they getting these photos of him? Are they stealing them from other movie posters from his real films? Like, is that what's happening?
When did this one actually, like, when would that cover have been released? I don't even know.
So this one did the thing that we thought Rubberface did. This one got made in 1981, but didn't get released until 83.
Yeah, that's exactly
But
right.
again, that wouldn't have been because of Jim Carrey, because Jim Carrey's Sex and Violence Family Hour probably wasn't the thing that made this one okay. This wasn't, Pretty Women to Julia Roberts' satisfaction,
This is so ridiculous. The Wikipedia for this movie has a Jim Carrey section. It says role of Jim Carrey. There's a drop down. I'll read you that because that's the most they have on this movie.
In case you missed it, because it'd be easy to do.
Well, I did clock him. I found him. It's a silent role, as we've mentioned.
You just had to find the tall, gawky, skinny guy.
Yeah.
Who I don't know why is in the movie. I don't know what the point of this character is. He never shows up again.
No.
He didn't seem to be necessary for that segment he was in.
He's described as like a cameraman, but I never saw a camera in his hands.
He did have, that was the thing he was holding. It was like a long string and a Polaroid-y looking camera thing.
But you know what we do get to see?
What?
We get to see that little butt.
Yeah. Yeah, they both men had tan lines on their butts, and was that like on purpose? Were they like, we got to get him out tanning so the joke will sell, so you can tell it's a butt? Was that the directing note?
No, that is. You should be telling me this. You got to get the tan lines.
The women didn't have tan lines. That's all I'm saying, but the men did. I guess because they're not nudists. That's how we know that they're not nudists.
So Jim Carrey plays a small silent role as the naked cameraman Ralph Parker. I mean, he doesn't enter the film naked, though. He enters the film clothed. I
didn't know he had a name. But he definitely spends more of the film naked than clothed, so you might as well say what it is,
Yeah, well, now you know he has a name. His name was Ralph Parker.
Related to, no, I got nothing.
It's okay. This movie gave us nothing.
I was going to say Randall Parker, but Randall Parker's last name is actually just Park, so it wouldn't really make any sense.
It's an okay try.
Peter Parker.
Peter Parker.
Peter Parker. All right, we got there.
After Carrey became a major international film star, however, subsequent video releases of the film emphasized him as its star over most of the actual main cast, and that is the most this movie gives us.
Yeah, I got nervous when we got like this opening. It was like Ouija Shark level of extended opening credits because it goes on for like 3 minutes, Joe. These opening, we go through like 15 people's names that get their own little marquees. And Jim Carrey wasn't in it at all. And I go, uh-oh. And then we go through most of the people in the marquee in the first 20 minutes. And I go, uh-oh, if these guys were getting marqueed, and Jim Carrey's not even that.
I know.
He's going to have a smaller role than this dude's 3-minute bit. Yep. We're in trouble.
Yeah.
It's sort of bold of them to do these marquee credits when the footage you were using of the actors pretty much comprised all of the footage you had of the actors from the movie itself. And then you did it again at the end with, by the way, the worst credit fonting I've ever seen. I don't think I could discern any potential names in that at all.
I don't remember a single person in this movie, except for the guy's like phony mustache when he goes into the club and he's just...
Oh, yeah.
It's not even like a penciled on mustache. It's like he put a strip of felt that was cut into a rectangle, like a thin rectangle, and he put it on it. And I was like,
he didn't even aim it well.
Really?
It's a skew.
Even if that's the joke, I'm not laughing. I had a hard time with this one. This might be one of the worst movies we've ever covered on the show. And that's a pretty low bar.
Well, at some point it stopped being a movie. It reminded me a lot of like Hell's Angel on Wheels, where we just spent so much time like watching people drive bikes, and this time we spent so much people watching people strip and be naked. We just got these aggressively longer and longer tangents away from the already thin plot that didn't seem to resolve until suddenly it had. And I go, well, how did this happen?
I mean, I guess it does have a plot, but it's so thin. It's
the plot was like, we want you to make the stripper movie. He's like, I don't want to make the stripper movie. I'm going to go try to make my movie elsewhere. But everybody else wants him to make a different version of the stripper movie. So he goes back to make the stripper movie, and then he goes to a nightclub to learn how it works, and he goes to a nudist camp to learn how being nude works, I guess. And then he just travels the world strip clubs.
Yep.
And that audience, he says no lines for, and also for some reason takes 25 minutes. It's a phantasmagoria of worldly, exotic dancing.
There is a scene, though, where he has to talk to a guy, and he's like, I can't do this. My wife isn't going to, let me do this. And the guy's like, does she need to be your wife? And I'm like, excuse what?
It's all right. She stays his wife at the end, and even she starts stripping. Everybody's taking their clothes off.
This was a very well thought out movie. They had a lot of ideas going.
Was this a Canadian movie?
Has to be. How would Jim Carrey just jump into Hollywood? Which this is not even a Hollywood movie. This is
Not a Hollywood movie. Don't know what it is.
This looks like someone taped it in their backyard.
The audio's terrible too.
I don't even know if it's the transfer we got or whatever, but I was just hoping to for everything that was holy, that this isn't going to be like your like Full Frontal or Citizen or whatever.
Yep, ended up being super terrible.
I was like, what is he going to find in this one? What is he going to find?
Now, pretty irredeemable. Oh, yes, let's thank Mr. Jeremini sponsoring this film by finding it for us to watch because it was legitimately nowhere. And then you know what? I get it.
I do get it too.
I get why this is not only nowhere, but also hard to put anywhere, despite Jim Carrey being in it.
I mean, he's in it, but he's not even like he almost leaves zero impression.
All of these films have just his big stupid face on it, so I get it, but where are you like all the streaming sites are particularly family friendly, so I don't know where and when you put this on there.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how it just didn't show up on Tubi. Tubi has everything. There are Jane Fonda workout videos on Tubi.
Good old Tubi.
From the 90s when she was just doing her workout shit. There are like 8 videos of them. You know, it's not in Letterboxd, so I wasn't gonna try to do it for completionist thing. But you know, I'm pretty sure my grandma had those back from like the late 80s, early 90s.
I think everybody's grandma had those.
Yeah, sweating with Jane.
It was weird that the mean studio head guy did all the voiceover stuff. I also didn't realize he was the one doing it most of the time.
I mean, yeah. I'm trying to find something else I can mention. Is Jim Carrey the tallest person in this movie? He's very tall.
He seemed quite tall, yes. Maybe the Canadians are short people. I don't know.
Well, he's Canadian.
But does this movie get released in theaters? Like, what would the rating have been?
What a great question. I would rate this.
There's dongs and bushes everywhere. Like, I don't know how you get away with this in the 80s.
I know. Isn't it, like, really, like, tightening the grip on stuff back then?
Yeah, the Reagan era stuff's coming. They're all like, boobs,
Yeah, well, maybe it is because it's in Canada. Then that's probably why, right? So it's a Canadian comedy film which was produced in 1981 but not shown in theaters. So it did come out in theaters in 1983. May 6th.
So it wasn't shown in theaters. You said was?
But was not shown until 1983. So they...
Well, I don't know why you waited, but okay.
Well, they were
like,
finally
shit, look at the success of Copper Mountain. We gotta do something with Jim.
Well, they finally got distribution from Pan-Canadian Film Distributors.
Sounds legitimate. Good for them. Not mob run at all.
Can you believe this movie had 3 fucking writers? That's insane. Why did it take that many people? Anthony Kramreither he was... Wow, that was an old man making this movie. He was born in 1926. He died in 1993. Let's see what he did. This kind of comes at the beginning of his career as a director. This is only his 5th feature out of...
God, I'd hate to see his features before this.
He made 19 movies. Only some are producers, but like he made 19 movies. Yeah, his first movie, Lines for Breakfast, came in 1975. No one liked it. From the Globe and Mail, I guess that's a Canadian branch. Cinema Canada reviewed it more favorably, opining that there's nothing flashy about the film, nor should there be. By proceeding in a straightforward line, the creators have achieved exactly what they set out to do, and they've done it without resorting to too many cliches or too depressing cuteness. What was this movie? Because I don't know. There's no plot about this at all. Oh, here we go. I found it. His first feature that he produced... this is Anthony Kramreither, our director and writer of All in Good Taste. His first feature he produced centers on 2 brothers, 22-year-old Trick and 10-year-old Zanny, who are on a bus trip to find a new place to live after the death of their parents.
That sounds very different from this movie.
It does. Like I said, he's only a producer on it, but...
But I bet it has just as many jokes as this movie.
None.
That was my implication.
How can this be listed as a comedy film? I mean, it's not... I mean,
it does try to make jokes. It just doesn't do them well.
None of them land? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
A zero joke landing?
No jokes landing.
Anthony Cramreither. What a name. I don't know what to do with him. He wrote and directed this with his buddies, I guess?
Yeah, you got 2 other writers there to make sure you could really figure out how to solve the problem of the guy who's like, I can't think of a plot for this stripper movie. Well, what if I just don't have a plot and show a lot of breasts? That should probably solve the problem. And then everybody's like, this is the best movie you've ever made. And I go, all right, well, I wouldn't believe it.
I've never heard of this guy either, but he just seems like a guy. Richard Rick Green. He's a Canadian comedy writer.
Comedy, quote unquote.
I don't know, man. I got nothing. Here's something for you though, for you to chew on for our last few minutes. It's not officially announced yet, but I read an article the other day that said that Christopher Nolan is eyeing a remake for his next feature. It's not going to be a TV show. It's a feature. He wants to remake The Prisoner.
You know, I heard of that too. As a movie?
Yeah.
Well, sounds like it won't be great, but that's fine.
Does it make sense? I still haven't seen it yet. I know it's one of your favorites, or it's close to you.
I certainly do enjoy the show quite a bit. I think the ending is one of the best episodes of television ever, and they did a 6-episode miniseries on AMC maybe 20 years ago now with Jesus and Ian McKellen.
Jim Caviezel.
Yeah. That one was, like, not the best, but it wasn't unwatchable. So I guess, right, no, those are hour-long episodes. Yeah, I don't know. I'm like, oh, well, if Tenet's doing a 3-hour thing, then maybe. I think the formula of the weekliness of it was an important factor in the show's themes. I think the week-after-weekness of it was kind of necessary.
Mm-hmm.
Some people may not see this right away, but there is an arc to the main character as he's kind of getting defeated week after week that leads to actual conflict. I think is important too. I just don't know how you got to set it up and bring it to some kind of a conclusion and be thematically potent about it. And I would just be surprised if they could do it well. I would go and see it, but I wouldn't expect much from it. Much like I'm about to do with Godzilla X Kong.
Do you think Nolan's going to cast Cillian Murphy again? Does that make sense for that actor?
Yeah, but I wouldn't cast him as the main guy, I don't think.
Okay.
You could cast him as the bad guy.
That would be new for him.
No, he's a scarecrow, wasn't he? I'm a scarecrow.
I guess.
And the red eye thing, right?
Yeah, but
he's got the face for creepy dude.
Yeah, Red Eye was over 20 years ago. I guess the Scarecrow is a good point, but it's a smaller role. He was never the main villain in anything. That's what I kind of meant, I guess.
You could also be like mentor-y. Like, I'm imagining for some reason Werner Herzog is like also being a patron of this village, and he's like, here's what we do, number 6. They don't want you to, and he gives you the mentor-y guidance stuff. Like Cillian Murphy could do that kind of a role too.
Okay.
As like a weird kooky old dude, a guy that's already gone crazy maybe.
He is getting up there in age.
I don't know, like it's hard to say who could play the main character because I think you have to change a lot to make it work in a movie format.
Yeah, I mean, I guess he would make it probably close to 3 hours. So that seems like his kind of length.
The choice of changing it in the AMC miniseries was to make him, I guess, really boring and have kids.
Damn.
When the anonymousness of the character was sort of part of the theme.
Mm-hmm.
It was a very clever show. It's influenced a lot of people ever since, and it is one of the hallmarks of the 60s, 70s kind of out there film production era. It's tough to recreate the magic of it. I don't know. It sort of was a time and a place kind of thing. I've been seeing the rumors kicked around, and it seems like it could be a hard one to get off the ground anyway, and I don't know how you do that.
I wanted to do something new. He has all that power. Do something new.
It would be new. It sure would be new. Well, for him, it'd be like something... It feels like something he wouldn't do.
Oh, okay.
I don't know why I feel that way, but I do.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I just wanted to float that by you. Also, we have some Sandler watch, right?
Sandler Watch.
We do?
Yeah. I got breaking news?
Give it to me.
Well, Sandler has been announced in the new Noah Baumbach movie.
No, I did not hear this. Which one?
I don't know. There's just a Noah Baumbach movie in production at the moment. It's filming began this month.
Oh, okay.
In this cast, though, we have... Are you ready for this cast?
Yeah.
George Clooney. These people are playing family members. George Clooney, Adam Sandler, Laura Dern, Billy Crudup, Riley Keough, Jim Broadbent. I don't think he's part of the family, but those are the 5 people I just listed there are family members.
The George Clooney feels like the interesting get for a Baumbach film.
Yeah, I know. Laura Dern, too, right? That's fun.
I could kind of buy it. She's already doing weird shit, you know?
Yeah,
She did Inland Empire, so, like... I know, but I could believe her being in a Baumbach. George Clooney's, like, Hollywood A-list guy. It's like when they got Bruce Willis to do the Wes Anderson film. You're like, wow, what a weird... I never would have seen that coming.
Do you know who I just saw towards the bottom of this cast list? Sonny and Sadie Sandler. He's bringing the family
Shocked.
in.
Woof. That was the condition in the contract. He's like, all right, but if there are any kid roles, you got to give them to mine.
And then, as a no surprise to anyone, because they are married, Greta Gerwig has been announced for this movie as well. Glad to see she's still acting. You know, because she's going to be in production soon on a...
Barbie 2?
No, she's doing a...
Matchbox.
No, I told you what she's doing already, didn't I?
I don't remember. Maybe you didn't. I forgot immediately.
What is it called? I'm struggling for it right now. Narnia, Chronicles of Narnia for Netflix.
Hey, that sounds boring. Hey, I got a whoopi watch for us.
Whoopi.
We got a whoopi watch. What? Bring it on.
Here's an article from ET Online by Mekishana Pierre. I'm sorry if I butchered that. Tyler Perry gives update on Sister Act 3 with Whoopi Goldberg. The update isn't aggressively impressive. It just says, hey, we're still kind of working on it. It's coming down the pipeline. Just hit a couple of speed bumps, but still a plan to do. Perhaps Tiffany Haddish will be in it. The end. And then he complains about how long it's taking to do the movie. He's just kind of bitching out studios a little bit.
Do you think Whoopi would want direct? Step in the director's chair in her 70s?
Nope.
Is she 70 now?
I think she enjoys doing less effort in things as she gets older.
She's not doing less. She's on The View still. She just was in The Color Purple.
Yeah, what a great, easy job to do. I showed up on The Color Purple for a half a day. In The View, I just go in and talk. That's all I got. I don't think she wants to put in a lot of work into stuff.
If she was on that set for half a day, she was visiting and talking and shaking everyone's hand. She walked on set for 5 minutes. No. That set was so dimly lit. She was just like, hey, I'm here. Let's get this done. You see
I'm
me?
on my
All
lunch
right.
break. Barbara Walters is going to yell at me.
I want to apologize. She's not in her 70s yet. She's 68 years old. I apologize. That's rude of me.
All right. Let's go to some last looks, eh?
Last looks. Jim, don't do this ever again, please. Don't do this again. You better not see another one of these there. Your filmography. I swear to God. This was outrageous. What are your last looks?
Yeah, why does Jim Carrey do this movie? Well, I was admittedly a bit confused. I'm like, you've done these 3 other things. Why'd you take this role? You don't say anything. You don't even get to do anything. You just have to be awkwardly naked.
It's such a nothing.
But then I was like, oh, he did this probably before the other ones. This might legitimately be his first acting role, and it just didn't get seen by anyone.
His debut, but it's released so far after everything else has come out.
So it's like Rubberface, right? Where it just didn't get put. At least in Rubberface, though, he basically played himself. So like, fine.
Yeah.
But all right. So if this is your actual first movie, fine. You're a high school dropout. You're taking any role you get. I totally buy it. I totally buy it, right? You're whatever, an 18, 19-year-old high school dropout. You're like, what have I done? I've been out of school for 3 years.
Yeah.
He's like, whatever, I'll show my butt. It's Canada. We're not so hung up on stuff over here. So it's just cold. That's why we don't get naked often.
Yeah, just don't do it again. Just don't do any more of these, please.
Well, I feel like we do see his butt in other movies, though, don't we?
Of course. Who cares? No, I'm not saying don't show your bum. I'm saying
okay.
I don't want him just...
You want him to be in real movies? Is that what you're saying?
I want him to join the...
Be in a legitimate, actual film?
Yeah, where someone sat down for more than 30 hours and wrote a script.
A film that's so good it can find distribution within an 18th month period?
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Seems reasonable. So why'd you do this movie? I guess I get it. If it's your first ever film, how many actresses have started off having to do, like, crazy sex scenes and nude things and stuff, right? Like,
Well,
Jim
we
Carrey's
don't
just
need
like
to go into
that.
That's sad.
Jim Carrey had to start off, bear it all, to, you know.
Well, not all of it, just a little bit of it, just a
The
bit.
main character in this movie almost got Me Too'd a couple times, too. Like, it's just the way of Hollywood, I guess.
Yikes.
All right. Well, I'd like to thank our sponsor, On the Toad again.
On the toad again.
I technically think frogs and toads are different, but whatever. Your amphibian car needs. Nope. Lev is telling me it's actually just frogs,
What?
not amphibians. Only frogs for On the Toad again. Fine.
On the toad again.
I'd like to thank Lev Van Rensselaer for minding those audio boards and keeping me sound so slippery smooth. I'd like to thank my co-host Joe Vekeman for stopping by.
Oh, thank you for having me.
And I am your host, Patrick Scale. You can find my features, documentaries, short films, video essays, animations, behind-the-scenes footage, and so much more at QuixoticUnited.com and social media, presumably with a similar sounding name. Thank you all for listening. Joe, say goodnight.
Good night.
I was very glad that you and seemingly most of the world didn't like Imaginary.
Okay, so since we don't have much to talk about with this fucking movie, we got to get into the Blumhouse thing right now. What's going on with Blumhouse? They used to be interesting, or at least somewhat like their model was a good idea. Give a filmmaker $1 to $5 million. Have at it. Now it's just like, what was Imaginary's budget? I gotta look it up.
It was $10 to $12 million. I looked it up. That's why I said the thing about Godzilla -1.
Oh yeah, that's right. But it's also like, no offense to the actors on there, but like you need a little more than Betty Buckley to bring some oomph to your scenes.
I didn't know who to blame. Do I blame them? Do I blame the director? Do I blame the script?
Absolutely blame the director. I will tell you, we will be covering one of his films on our series we're doing right now. So I can't wait, because I haven't seen it since I saw it in theaters, and I was like, oh no. As soon as oh my God, I've seen a couple of these guys' movies. Oh. It's just, some directors, I'm like, how do you still get allowed to make movies? Like, I know it's a small budget, but like, how? There's nothing there. There's no voice.
It just is weird because they're like, all right, new potential client Patrick Skeyhill, send us a sample of your writing. Let's see. And I send them that script. They go, well, you'll never make it. This is terrible. This is an awful script. Listen, I have a friend over here, and we go, and every now and then we'll go see. Our thing is going to the theater and watching trashy kind of films.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, trashy horror films. I'll be specific. It just feels like over the last year and a half, they've just been steadily getting worse.
Yeah.
And I thought Night Swim was dumb, which you did too. But at least it felt like it was made by professionals. This movie was total amateur hour on all levels. It was crazy. I don't know how. I was like, we got worse than Night Pool? Night Swim? Whatever the stupid thing's called.
Night Pool. Night Pool is kind of like what It Follows turns into.
It's like Deadpool when he's sleepy.
Wow, Blumhouse has been around for 24 years.
Well, that is a lot longer than I had expected.
They have made $5 billion revenue.
But I've also felt like A24 hasn't had a steady decline per se, but it feels like some of their films aren't, I don't know, they're making less interesting things too over there as well.
Wait, A24? What? Excuse me?
I haven't been in love with half of A24's output recently.
Did you see Love Lies Bleeding? I did. You saw it, Love Lies Bleeding.
I just saw that yesterday. I did enjoy that. That's why I'm saying it's not quite like Blumhouse, where it's like a sharp decline. But they're not all hits like they used to be. They used to be all, when we were going to theaters watching 4 movies on a Saturday, you wouldn't miss with an A24. I feel like I flip a coin. I don't know if I'm going to like what I'm getting now. So are they getting safer? Are they getting, do they have like stockholders now they got to be beholden to? Do they have a formula now? Do they fall into the sabermetrics trap? I don't know.
Well, their trailers have a formula, and at least their horror trailers really have that formula. And like there's like a beat to beat thing with their trailers. And I don't hate it yet, but I'm getting tired of it. It's a little stale. I think with A24 I'm a little less critical than you, but I mean did you read my review for Love Lies Bleeding?
No, I didn't know you saw it.
It's okay if you didn't.
Did you see that this week?
I saw it Sunday.
Oh, you know why? Because I don't think I read anyone's reviews. I think I just see your stars. I don't know how to read your review, I guess.
Go into my diary. Read my diary.
I don't know how that... Well, Lawrence saw it, but didn't rate it. But you saw Petite Maman.
I did yesterday. That was beautiful.
A cute little film, yes.
It is. It's very little. That's right. on
they
different
get in
scales.
and they're out. Made for $10, maybe. I don't know, but it's fun.
The cast also small, little girls.
That's right. That's true.
I read your review. I believe either sisters or twin sisters because they have the same last name and they look alike, so they're definitely related. So that's why you said you were confused by their faces, and I was like, yeah, that makes sense.
That did what was. I do remember that being hard. Now that you bring it up, what is your review
of Love Lies Bleeding?
Yeah.
Oh, I loved it until the last 3 minutes. It just kind of took me out of it a little bit. It's just how it was done. Because as you know me, I love a Hulk. So I was kind of into it.
That part of it. Okay. Yeah. I don't know how I thought you were talking about the truck and the choking at the end.
Oh, no. That was weird too, though.
I'm just confused. Mm-hmm. It really, I know we were getting these little close-up things, but I have no reason to think that was going to lead us to giant people. And also, I don't know why Kristen Stewart would get giant. So if it's a metaphor...
I think it was, when they were running, kind of.
So if it's height.
So you interpreted that they both grew.
Well, they did that. It was just, visually as a metaphor, I was getting it. But then also sometimes I wasn't. I don't know.
It's just it wasn't
the
magical
tone
realism
of your movie.
Tilted a little too much for me. Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's really gritty, really dark and kind of.
I mean, you could do dark magical realism, but so much of the movie you were not doing that, and then it feels almost Deus Ex Machina in a way.
Yeah,
that's my problem with it, and I had a hard time figuring it out. So, what the goal of it was, why they did it. Mm-hmm. Sort of, you got a punk aesthetic the whole time, so is it just kind of like a big middle finger? Also,
just a really grimy aesthetic. There's a lot of icky stuff. I don't know. I also kind of question why Kristen Stewart was like, "Hey, let's try some steroids, right?" And I'm like, "What?" She's clearly she's done it natural, and I'm like, so you're going to introduce steroids now? She looks great. What are you doing? And that's why I'm like, are you just introducing a plot mechanism to go by later? And that's what happens later. It's she goes crazy from it. I loved it so much. There's so many little pieces of it that I was like, oh, this is fucking awesome. Especially the Dave Franco part. Great gore. Great little rat tail on him. It's like a mullet rat tail. It's incredible. Great looks apart from everybody in this. Kristen Stewart looks like she hasn't slept in a month.
Hey, maybe she hasn't. She can be method, maybe.
Maybe. Then I saw The Fugitive right afterwards. Did a double feature.
I did see you saw The Fugitive.
I didn't know why it was having a rep screening on its 31st anniversary since it came out 30 years ago last year.
It's whoops, we forgot rep screening.
Well, but then I guess there's a St. Patrick's Day element towards the end where there's a parade. Yeah, there's a St. Patrick's Day parade at the end. For 5 minutes. I'm like, is this it? Is this why they're connecting it with St. Patrick's Day? And
is that coming up? What day is St. Patrick's Day?
It was Sunday.
It was Sunday?
Yes, it already happened. You missed it.
No one wished me a happy St. Patrick's Day.
Well, I'm sorry. Usually you don't like when I wish you anything.
Those little fuckers. Not you. Just the other little fuckers. I wouldn't like it, but it feels like I want to tell them not to. That's all. Does no one get drunk around here? I live near a big school. Aren't the college kids getting drunk? Maybe they're they do break here weirdly, Joe. There's spring breaks in like March, but they don't have one in February.
It's too cold for spring break in February. And also, I believe today is the first day of spring.
No. We, on the East Coast, would have a break in February and a break in April.
In April, yeah.
They only do one break.
Oh.
And it's in March, usually.
You get ripped off.
I had asked about that with my old teaching friends on the East Coast, and they're like, yeah, they don't want to pay for the heating. So that's why we get a break in February.
So sad. They can't pay for one extra week of heat.
I think it's changed since then, but at the time it was instituted, heating was a lot more expensive, I think.
Yeah, wow. That's embarrassing. And I guess that's also why there's no gym or art class anymore. Yikes. Wow.
Gym feels like it's easy. You just like have a big room in your school, right? And you're like, all right, we got the one basketball, folks. Make do.
Yeah, all the equipment is like from like when we were in school.
Yeah, gym teacher's like, all right, we went to Target this morning and bought our own Frisbees, so we can play with this today. This one's off-brand, though, so it's a square. You got to be a little careful when throwing it. You might poke somebody.
I have been watching Terrence Malick movies. I'm just going to go through them all. I've already watched 6 of them.
If you're just going to go through them all, all 10, it must be real tough.
Well, I mean, they're not. Some of them aren't short. They're pretty long movies. But I just want to remark that for the longest time, I had seen Knight of Cups and Song to Song and Thin Red Line, Tree of Life, and everyone at the time was like, To the Wonder sucks. Don't watch it. It's so bad. And I'm like, it's just like the rest of them. What are you talking about? Why does this one suck so much? I watched it. It's fine. There's nothing so offensively boring or horrible that's not in the rest of them. They're very similar movies. I mean, I guess he had a trilogy of like lost lovers or losing yourself and like whatever. Existential Crises for To the Wonder, Knight of Cups, and Song to Song. Those were like a trilogy he made.
Yeah, I think that's I don't even remember To the Wonder, but I remember the other two, and I watched them pretty much back to back on my Netflix DVDs.
Excellent.
Back when you could do that. They are pretty much the same thing. It was like, this one's in Hollywood, and this one's in the music.
Okay, so would you believe that he shot them almost back to back and then spent 4 years editing them and trying to separate the footage?
I would definitely believe that. Yep. 1,000% I would believe that.
Also, I think it's kind of hilarious that he does have 10 movies and that like 5 of them are from the last decade. Guy's been making movies since the beginning of the 70s. Took a 20-year break?
Well, I can see his style being tough to market for a bit.
Oh, yeah. Well, the thing is, Badlands is like kind of like a normal movie. Do you remember it that well?
No, probably because it was a normal movie.
Well, I mean, it has his whole like vibe to it, but it's more normal than what he usually does, which is just like, hey, Ben Affleck, I'm going to have you say more lines to this cashier than you will say to your wife this whole movie. I swear to God, there's a scene in To the Wonder where he's just like, he's getting takeout at a drive-thru, and there's 5 lines of dialogue that he has, and I'm like, that's more than you've said this whole movie. And you're just ordering a burger. Like, what the fuck is going on?
I mean, Kelly Reichardt takes 12 years between her first and second movie, and then after that, she's making them like every 2 years. So, it's tough when you're starting out and you're beyond the fringe of the filmmaking expectations.
She also found a muse in Michelle Williams.
Yeah, but that wasn't until her third movie.
Oh. I really have to go dive into her stuff.
She just got into like a groove where like, well, I'm just going to make a thing for, I don't know, $200,000 or whatever, and then I can do my thing.
Good for her.
And then eventually she got to expand out of that, and they'd offer her more money, but
A little more.
I know. But if you can afford Jesse Eisenberg,
some actors?
yeah, and not just like your Portland hippie friends, then
It's a good point.
you've elevated to something. Or if you can do a period piece, so like you can get there and stuff. Terrence Malick takes a while to make his first early films. I get it.
Well, he had Martin Sheen and Sissy Spacek, and then in the next one he gets Richard Gere. I've always kind of been like back and forth, like, do I like Gere? Gere's okay. He doesn't really stick out for me too much, but then I'm like, this mode works for me. I liked what he was doing in Days of Heaven. So I'm looking at the Blumhouse releases from the 2010s. Can I tell you the first 2010s Blumhouse release that we've covered on this podcast?
All right, give it to me.
It is You Can't Handle the Tooth, Dwayne Johnson's Tooth Fairy. It is a Blumhouse release.
Wow. I would not have guessed
Produced
that.
by Jason Blum.
So did they like find their way into the horror thing, or are they also just doing weird shit on the side?
Well, that October they're into Paranormal Activity 2, Insidious, Paranormal Activity 3, yeah, Sinister. Then they're off to the races. It's just it's funny that January 2010 they have Tooth Fairy, and then they're like, I think I was just doing a favor for someone. Then it's just like it's just horror releases mostly. Oh, what? I had no idea. We've covered another Blumhouse release from our Julia Roberts miniseries.
Really? I remember some A24 things from her, but I don't remember Blumhouse.
This is a Blumhouse Productions.
Ben is back.
Nope. To win a war, you have to start one. The Normal Heart.
I was about to go Charlie Wilson's War.
Mike Nichols and Blumhouse together. First last feature. That's great. Have we done any more? This is crazy. Don't think so. There are movies I've never even heard of. Have you heard of Stephanie?
Nope. Sequel to
This
Megan.
movie star. Well, it came out 7 or 8 years before that. Frank Grillo, Anna Torv from Fringe and Mindhunter. I don't know what this is. Trying to find something about it. Let's see. There we go. She's just a dark spiritual girl. Benji? They made a new Benji movie? Blumhouse released a Benji movie on Netflix.
I don't know what that is.
Benji the dog? The little scruffy looking dog.
Doesn't sound like a horror film.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Sometimes they'll turn around and be like, hey, not today.
Not today, folks.
Yeah. All right. We're moving on from Blumhouse.
All right.
It's just weird that they're releasing just nothing now. Like, Imaginary.
It's been a lot of crap. It's been a lot of crap.
Night Swim.
Here's what I think we all have to accept, Hollywood, that you can't take a 3-minute scary short film and stretch it out for 90. You just can't do it because it worked because of how simple and short it was. The stupid pool thing, the lights out thing, the smile thing, all dumb.
Smile. Oh boy.
All dumb, stupid movies. You get overly complicated in your mythology.
Yep, that's it. Exactly it. They're like, we have to stretch it out, so build a mythology. Okay.
Oh, she only comes out in the dark because she was killed with the lights out. Shut up. Stupid nonsense.
There's only so many tricks you can get, so I don't know. Just be weirder.
In the film Imaginary, I was bored. I was kind of looking around the audience. I'm like, I wonder how many people think they're at the animated Steve Carell film and are very disappointed right now.
Are you talking about If?
Yeah, I think
the John Krasinski movie coming out in May, starring Ryan Reynolds?
Yeah, right there, animated.
It's called
Imaginary
If
Friends
because it's Imaginary Friends.
Instead of the murderous Imaginary Friends.
Yeah, I can't believe we're getting Imaginary Friends universe this year.
Yes. All right. Let's talk about a movie Blumhouse wishes it made.
Oh, yes, definitely. All in good taste. Currently has a 2.9 out of 10 rating on IMDb. How do you get that low?
That's kind of pretty good, though, right?
I guess.
That's almost 3.
Almost 3. You are glass half full today.
Wow, look at that.
Wow.
All right, I'm taking my drink. I mean, like, what is the lowest rated Blumhouse film? Is it below All in Good Taste?
I'll look it up. What else are we going to talk about? I mean, some of these fucking movies I've never even heard of. I just don't even know where to go from here. Hold on. Oh, come on, IMDb. There we go. Popularity ascending. Well, Imaginary has a 4.8. Oh my god, Five Nights at Freddy's. Yeah, exactly. This is exactly what we're talking about. There's just like a weird IP that they try to expand, and it's nothing. It's such a nothing movie. But then it's like, then they have Whiplash and Get Out under their banner, which is cool. You know, it's really hard to get below a 5, I'm seeing. The Boy Next Door has a 4.7. Fantasy Island, did you ever see that?
No, I stayed away from that one.
It came out right before the pandemic, like, hit full throttle. And I was like, Tanya, let's spend Valentine's Day at the theater seeing Fantasy Island. And she's like, I don't even remember seeing that. Firestarter, there's a Firestarter remake with Zac Efron.
I remember that too. Mm-hmm.
The Craft Legacy has a 4.6.
All right, maybe
4.0, They, Them, with Kevin Bacon, streaming on Peacock right now. Let's see, I'm trying to look for a below... What did I say, a 2.9 for this?
Yeah.
Oof. Still going.
Maybe IMDb people are a lot nicer than I would have thought.
The Jinx, The Life and Deaths of Robert Durst is somehow a Blumhouse release too. They have their fingers on that.
Weird, but all right.
That is very weird. Looking. I don't see anything low. Wow, they are doing great. Dashcam, 4.6. Did you hear about Dashcam? It was made from the guy who made the Host movie. Just Host. It was like 55 minutes long, came out during the pandemic. Tooth Fairy has a 5.0.
All right. The quest seems to be a faulty one. We'll just...
I know, I can't believe it. Whoa, the Ouija movie.
Ouija Shark?
Martyrs?
Ooh, Martyrs. Martyrs I like. That movie's fucking nuts.
It's not that one. It's the remake in 2015.
Well, that probably sounds terrible.
Don't get
then.
excited.
How do you remake that? All right, fine.
I don't know.
I don't know why. Okay.
Let's move on, and if I find someone, I'll let you know.
Fine. All right. Oh, and I forgot, Joe, real quick.
Oh.
We've got an award to give out.
What?
We got an award to give out. That's right. We're going to give out our very first levy.
We are giving out a levy.
We're giving out a levy.
Excellent.
All right, and it is for the best podcast about a space-based Pixar spin-off feature film. And the levy goes to... Socks Talk! Oh my goodness, Socks Talk!
Oh, incredible!
Yeah.
Good on them.
For their podcast about Lightyear. If you want to know everything about Lightyear and the cat Socks, who is from the movie Lightyear, every week they watch the movie Lightyear and then have to talk about it. Every week. They watch the movie again. The end.
How long ago did that movie come out?
I don't know.
Is
Joe.
that
You
22
saw it
release
in
or 23?
theaters.
Yeah, I don't remember. I remember very little about that movie. I'm looking it up right now. Is that a 22 release or a 23 release? What do you think?
20.
Did it come out last year or 2 years ago?
22, I'll say. 22.
It was a 22 release.
Starring one of the Chris's. Who's to say which one?
This is bullshit. For a guy who has a Lightyear podcast, he gave it 1 star. You and I gave it a star and a half. We are generous.
Maybe the 23rd time really started to grate on him. I don't know.
I would blame him. I could barely make it through one time. That is crazy. Good on them.
Yeah, congratulations, Sauce Talk, and I hope you enjoyed the episode we're about to do. All right.